We were talking basketball, talking about summer league, what to watch, how everybody's amped up for it, and you can see it by the live crowd and attendance and stuff like that. But I want to focus in, Lindsay, that I got you here is more too on our team. You know, everything like that. We've talked about pre-draft last time we were together. You know, the big three and Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, obviously being healthy, being ready to play. Has the draft changed anything of your perspective or not, or maybe the acquisitions or the signings of different guys? You know, it always gets me, where does this land Killian Hayes and some of the guys that have been here before? What did these draft and free agent acquisitions, trades, blah, 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 mean to you going forward for the Detroit Pistons team?
Well, watching some of the transactions that's happened, you know, we got Joe Harris, of course, Monte Morris, of course, and the 2 draft picks.
So, Joe, which let's start right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fan of the deal?
I am.
You are a fan of the deal,
Yes.
and then Troy,
Yes.
because right now I think is not having the luxury, and the Pistons, and I look at them and the Wings in the same, is sometimes maybe you have to pay a little extra or whatever else, but I don't think in this case it seemed like a reasonable deal, market deal.
I like it because you didn't go, you know, over and beyond to reach for a free agent that, you know, maybe a good acquisition, but, you know, I'm not willing to pay, you know, $100 million to a guy that's not averaging 20 points. That's my philosophy. Like, if I'm paying you $100 million, you got to average 20 at least, you know. And so I know the kid from Brooklyn, we were looking at. Everybody was talking about go after him. Brooklyn paid him, of course. And he's a good, you know, he can shoot the ball well. But I like the Joe Harris acquisition. You didn't lose anything. You traded for him. You know, not paying him an absurd salary. And he can shoot the ball, you know. He struggled in the playoffs a little bit, but he can stretch the floor. I like that move.
Here's the question that from me to you that I think people should ask these questions to us.
Mm-hmm.
Does he make his teammates better? Does he make the guys around him better? Is he that sort of, instead of bringing in, you know, an assassin or a sniper, like somebody to do their role, but that you bringing in somebody that makes this team better? Because I say that because I look, is Troy Weaver doing the same thing as what Steve Yzerman's doing?
Mm-hmm.
Steve Yzerman might not be bringing in these top level, going out spending the money,
right,
because it's not his guy. Maybe Troy Weaver the same thing, but when you get a guy that can shoot, that you're going to pay for that points. But my question is Joe Harris make everybody in that room a better? Is it make that locker room better? And if the answer is yes, then to me, there's the irrelevant win,
right,
of the deal.
And I absolutely believe he does in both of those aspects, because he's a guy that can space the floor, which is at a premium in the NBA now. If you can shoot the basketball and space the floor, then you got, you know, guys like Ivy and that can get downhill that need that space. You know, that's going to make them better. That's going to make them better right away. You know, and it gives them depth. And I don't know if they're going to stay with what we have now, or are there other moves that possibly could be made. But I'm hearing that we're kind of staying with what we got right now, as of right now. Now, if another deal comes about that we can get better, I'm sure Troy will make that move. But as of right now, you know, we got some depth. We've acquired some shooting, and we got guys that can make plays. You know, so if healthy, if whole, and I'm looking at this team, and I told you, I think this team should be a borderline playoff team, fighting for that eighth spot, or from 7 to the play-in game.
The play-in game,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's
the
what
last time we were sitting here talking, as you go, there's no reason why they shouldn't be fighting for the play-in game.
Yes.
And it's exactly what I said last year about the Wings. And I look at it, and the question I ask you is this Pistons team better today than they were at the end of the season? Moving forward to next year with the guys they've drafted, or the guys they've traded for or signed or whatever like that.
Absolutely.
It probably even solidifies more to that you're expecting playing game.
Yes, definitely. And I think, you know, if we stay healthy, And with all because we have wings, we have bigs, we have guards, we're stockpiled in every position just about. So you would think that if we can stay healthy, man, we're going to be a young, tough team to deal with.
So with what you know about Monty Williams, right, just by sort of his track record and how he rotates and how he plays guys, how do you see right now, what is the starting five? You know,
ooh, that's going to be tough because
and so like, and I've heard you talk about this before, but why is that tough if?
Because I think, and that's a good problem to have. Like, that's not a bad thing.
It's a good thing, right?
Yes, that's because a really good thing.
We got guys competing for spots.
Exactly. So I think that's a good thing. But I mean, you know, you're going to start with Cade. You have Ivy. You know, is Bogey going to be your 3? I mean, is Duren is going to be your 5. Who's going to fill out that 4 position? Is Stu going to be the 4, or is it going to be Wiseman? You know, there are a lot of different ways you can play this, you know, so I like that. That's a great problem to have. And then you're coming off the bench with you know, Monte Morris and Joe Harris, and, you know, you got your draft picks, you know, so
there's
it's
a
exciting.
name you bring up, and I see a question that Spenny wrote down in the sheet. Does Monte Morris being brought in by the Pistons mean that this is sort of a signs of the end for Killian Hayes, or do you think that no, it's at the time where it's more of a competition, and a la what the position Philip Zadina is in with the Red Wings, where he'll be going to camp and clear waivers and stuff like this, but it's more of a time to prove it, right?
Definitely.
Are we in that area right now?
Absolutely, and I think for him it could be good for him if he, you know, accepts the challenge and does it the right way, because those guys can play together, you know. Monte Morris is a proven commodity in the NBA. He's a borderline starter guy because he can start for a playoff team, you know, but he's coming off the bench, priceless. Like, he's great for you know, if that's how they choose to use him. But this is going to be a deep team if we stand packed as we are. And philosophy-wise, you can go a lot of different ways. I know Monty's going to have defensively have everything solidified for these guys to excel on that end of the court. And you know what that means. If you can defend and be an elite defensive team, top 10 defensive team in the league, then you can win games.
Well, that's the whole thing, is how are we going to keep the basket out? Your mom's favorite skater asked, Kelly Oubre Jr. is an unrestricted free agent, averaged over 20 points a game. Do you have any interest? Would he make this team better? Or
I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. He can score the basketball. For us, I don't think he fits, you know, just me on the outside looking in, I don't think he fits what we're doing now, you know, because we have, you know, we just drafted a guy that fits that mold, you know. So I like him, and I think he'll end up somewhere, but I don't think
we got enough guys.
Yes.
To finish it.
Yes, I think we do.
You know, the one thing too, and I don't know if it's the same in the NHL, like systems and stuff like that, but what's the biggest thing for this team, in your opinion, being the defensive stalwart that you were? Is it like what's the first thing to make this team better defensively? Like, do they have the personnel? Do they have the right personnel to get better defensively? And is it just is a commitment and a system that Monty brings to them?
Absolutely. I think they have the personnel. Now it'll come down to them adjusting to Monty's philosophy and structure of how he's going to build his defense. And once those things are solidified, you'll definitely see a way better defensive team than we had last year. Like, it'll be night and day, and that'll make a tremendous difference. And I think that when you can defend, and you know as well as I do, DC, if you can defend, you feel confident about everything else, because you know we're stopping you on this end. Everything else
doesn't matter. It's just a matter of time.
Exactly.
You know, it's along to the same. And I'm sure with a lot of the great shooters, it's like the great shooters, and I always go back to Brendan Shanahan. one of the best scorers, always used to say, dude, your shooting percentage, it's not really, it doesn't change. So if you're a 10% shooter, that means you've got to get 10 shots on it. So it's, who cares where they're from?
Right.
It's the law of averages. I need 400 shots equals 40 goals.
Right.
That's the mentality of, and I see that, and I relate it to more like a Kobe Bryant. Or
Right.
somebody, it's just give me the volume. Because when I get it, I'm going to get it.